Okay, this section 4.2, we're going to talk about the heart at work. So the first vocabulary word here is the atrioventricular node. Say that with me. Atrioventricular node. It is a specialized mass of conducting cells located at the atrioventricular junction in the heart. So take a look right here, this spot right here where you see the arrow circling around, that is the atrioventricular node, also known as the AV node, because the word atrioventricular can be kind of a mouthful. So think of the atrioventricular node as a relay or an electrical relay station. So it's the slowing of the electrical current by the sinoatrial node before the signal is permitted to pass down to the ventricles. So again, think of this in easy terms here as a relay station. Next vocabulary word here is blood pressure. Blood pressure is the pressure exerted by the blood upon the walls of the blood vessels, especially arteries, usually measured by means of a sphygmomanometer. That's a big word there, sphygmomanometer. Try it again one more time. Sphygmomanometer. That's this thing right here, a little thing, that cuff that goes around your arm when you go to the doctor. Its job is to measure the pressure. So think of this kid when he's pushing against the wall here. That's the pressure against the walls of your blood vessels, especially the arteries. The more pressure you have, it's really not a good thing. It can be a sign of being unhealthy. Next vocabulary word here is cardiology, which is the study of the heart and its action and diseases. So here we have, if you are this kind of a doctor, you study who treats people for cardiology, you're called a cardiologist. A famous cardiologist on TV is Dr. Derek Shepherd from the famous doctor show Grey's Anatomy. So the job of a cardiologist who studies cardiology is to study everything about the heart. Next vocab word here is diastole. This is the stage of the heart cycle in which the heart muscle is relaxed, allowing the chambers to fill with blood. So this is when the heart kind of just, instead of contracting, it's relaxing. It's like opening up. It's kind of just chilling for a minute, like you see the Ninja Turtle here, Leonardo, just chilling, allowing the blood to fill up the part of the heart so it can then be pumped out. Next vocab word here is diastolic pressure. This is the blood pressure that remains between heart contractions. I would say in between. Think of in between the contractions of the heart. This is the blood pressure that remains. There's a good GIF here showing pressure. Next vocab word here is electrocardiogram. This is the measurement of heart electrical activity. Believe it or not, there is electrical activity going on in your heart. This is the this is what it looks like here. Over here on the right, you've seen this in the hospital, showing these different kind of wavelengths here. Shows you the electrical activity of your heart, and the doctors can tell a lot about your health by what your electrocardiogram reading looks like. Next word here is heart rate. This is the measure of cardiac activity, usually expressed as the number of beats per minute. You guys have seen people who wear smartwatches that can measure your heart rate. It's how many times it beats in a minute. When you are exercising, or you are excited, or you're nervous, or you're stressed out, heck, even if you're in love, your heart rate will increase. Next word here is hypertension, which is abnormally high blood pressure. Again, we talked earlier about high blood pressure is a dangerous thing. It's not good. It's a sign of bad health. So we have a good little diagram here that shows you what normal blood pressure looks like and how it slowly gets worse. Okay, plaque buildup. This is what this does. It narrows the blood vessels here, and this is caused by eating all these wonderful foods you love. Fried chicken, hamburgers, fries, those annoying hot Cheetos. Even Mexican food is usually high in foods, or high in sodium or fat. Those kinds of foods with high content of sodium and fat can lead to hypertension. Next word here is a pacemaker. Pacemaker is an electrical device for stimulating or steadying a heartbeat or reestablishing the rhythm of an arrested heart. An arrested heart is a heart that's stopped, and the pacemaker is this actual machine inside your body that will help give your be a little bit of a assistance to your heart, make sure that it is beating the proper way. When you've had a heart attack or you have hypertension or other ailments of the heart, a pacemaker can be a solution to help make sure that your heart is functioning properly. So the long story short, a pacemaker is there to make sure that your heart continues to beat in a steady fashion. Next vocab word here is pulse. This is the rhythmic expansion and recoil of arteries resulting from heart contraction. It can be felt from outside the body. If you've ever seen somebody holding the bottom below their wrist or touching their two fingers up to that big carotid artery up on their neck, you can feel the like a beating or like a beating of your heart. We call that your pulse. Again, like I said, it can be, as we can see right here. Here's the radial pulse underneath your wrist, and here's the one by your carotid artery on your neck. You can feel how much or how little your heart is beating. In this instance right here, we see the paramedic. Paramedics will check the the pulse of someone who they think may have died or may be in serious health situation. Next vocab word here is the Sinoatrial Node. It's a small mass of tissue that is made up of Purkinje fibers, ganglion cells, and nerve fibers that is embedded in the musculature of the right atrium, and that it originates the impulses stimulating the heartbeat. It can also be called the SA node. Now it's on the right atrium, it's the side right here. You're like, well, in the video it looks like it's the left, but you have to think we're looking at the heart almost in a mirror image. So if this was your heart, this would be on the right side here, and if we focus right here, this is what initiates or originates the impulse that starts your heartbeat. So this is pretty much like the ignition. It gets your heart. It's the part that kind of gets the beat, get your hearts to start beating. Next vocab word is it's a mouthful. We said it earlier. Sphygmomanometer. Say it again. Sphygmomanometer. It's an instrument for measuring blood pressure and especially arterial blood pressure. So again, this is you've seen this when you've gone to the doctor and when they check your blood pressure. And what it does, it squeezes and squeezes, and it helps them know how much blood pressure you have at that moment. Next word here is systole. This is the stage of the heart cycle in which the heart muscle contracts and and the chambers pump blood. Now we talked earlier about how it relaxes. This is now when it contracts and it's actually pumping the blood away from your heart. So again, when you think of systole, think of pumping away. Here we have the water being pumped away from the well. Here we have this guy pumping iron. So when you think of the word systole, think of pumping. Our last vocab word here in this lesson is systolic pressure. This is the pressure generated by the left ventricle during systole. The left ventricle is the one that pumps the blood away from your body. This is the pressure generated when that happens.